about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops invites you to the 2022 National Lenten Campaign launch on Saturday, 26 February 2022 at St. Mary's Msongari Grounds. This year's theme is Unity in Diversity, promoting good neighborliness. Watch the event live on KBC Channel 1 from 9:30 a.m.
Welcome to KBC Prime Edition, bringing you the Eye on the News for Wednesday, the 23rd of February 2022. The time, 9 p.m. East African.
And we are Fina Cheng Oma and John Jacob Kuria.
Well, JJ Kuria was in Sagana where President Uhuru Kenyatta made a declaration. We'll let you know how that went. But first, our headline stories.
Raila, it is. President endorses ODM leader in succession politics.
I am the best. Deputy President warns Ukambani residents against being swayed.
Plus, sanctuary for the dejected. Home opens door for teen mothers.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. My name is Mboya.
My name is Purity Museo. Lensa Odingo is our sign language interpreter tonight at KBC Channel 1 News at Purity_Museo at Mboya24. The hashtag is Prime Edition.
The news begins right now. President Uhuru Kenyatta has formally endorsed ODM leader Raila Odinga as his preferred presidential candidate in the August 9th presidential race.
The president, while addressing over 5,000 leaders who congregated at the Sagana State Lodge, said he had chosen Raila over his deputy William Ruto, accusing the second in command of not being sincere.
JJ Kuria was there and opens our coverage tonight with the Sagana story.
Speaking in his native Kikuyu language, the president sought to explain to his supporters why he had severed ties with his deputy, William Ruto, to support ODM leader Raila Odinga. President Kenyatta accusing the deputy president of lying to the electorate through false promises.
Aliamwe makoleto magithiuruka kwanyu makimwiraga na moimete kanitha hindi yo maroka kumwira neguo makimwiraga gutire kindu mamwekeirwo.
The president cautioning young people in the Mount Kenya region, whom he says have fallen prey to the politics of deception.
Vizazi ambavyo wamezaliwa kutoka mwaka wa 2002 wameona mambo hii. So mategemeo yao ni makubwa na ni sawa, ni haki yao. Lakini ni vizuri pia wajiulize yale ambaye yametendwa tulikuwa tumetoka wapi? Wengi hamjui vijana. Ni sawa? Ni sawa, mkija mkiambiwa ni kwa sababu mmeona yale mmeona. Lakini ulizeni wazazi wenu wametoka wapi?
President Kenyatta spilling beans on the deputy president, claiming his lieutenants had stolen 3 billion shillings meant for the construction of the Aurora and Kimorel Dam, proceeds being used to entice the clergy for support.
Woka haha na bese yoralia. Ne bese siagereiwo no gutwarira ado Elgeyo Marakwet damu bilioni 3 Negetha ciana cia Ngai nyue maaĩ, negetha ciana cia Ngai ihote kurima, neguo ciekirwo muhuko wa mundu woka koroga makanitha atĩ ndakunengera milioni 2 oke haha toinagire hallelujah.
To leave the country in what he says are safe hands, the president formally endorsed Raila and rallied his supporters to support the Azimio la Umoja.
Githedi amwera Kibaki adigaire nie economy ya trilioni cigana neguo uria nie nganengera thirikari na ne mwamugweta neguo ngamotigira economy ya trilioni 13 mucoke muge ati wira timorute.
President Kenyatta called on the vote-rich region to unite, promising to embrace all political parties in the region. This is the first time President Uhuru Kenyatta is speaking so passionately about his differences with Deputy President William Ruto. Whether this will alter the voting patterns and the support for Deputy President is only a matter that time will tell. John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
That's how it went down in Sagana. Thank you, JJ Curia. President Uhuru Kenyatta's speech during the Sagana 3 meeting has elicited mixed reactions from across the political divide.
While some are in support of the sentiments, others are of the opinion that the head of state should have steered clear of the succession race.
Here is that report.
Republic of Kenya, yes, he will vote, but the point we are trying to make is a symbol of national unity. He cannot play sectarian politics where he's supporting one president against the other, because it will further divide the country.
Why does it pain them when they see the president who has been quiet, who has been working diligently for this country, has now come out and say it's my moment now to talk politics? I think there is a lot of panic around UDA and Tangatanga, and
many people will come to believe and think that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to be a pet project of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So basically, he should have stayed aloof and not think directly on that matter. And he should have remained as focused as he was, so that he can have a form of leadership that is all inclusive and who can be able to pursue together in a bigger coalition instead of giving a specific support to one individual. Yeah.
To us, it's not a shock. We were prepared for it, and our supporters knew that that was what was eventually going to happen. Therefore, from now on, we move on without the support of HE.
Any change of the ground is that wale wengine ambao hatukuwa nao ndio sasa wamekuja zaidi, kwa sababu wameona there was no beans to be spilled. Hakuna makosa William Ruto alifanya.
Kenyans are democratic and free, and they know who to choose and who not to choose. The moment you appear to impose anybody on them, they will reject that imposition.
Let's now take you to Makueni, where Deputy President William Ruto today led his brigade, saying if elected, his government will focus on reviving the economy.
Ruto said he will also focus on improving healthcare systems. The DP took a swipe at his opponents that he said have no agenda for the country.
Nancy Okware is on that political beat.
The Kenya Kwanza Brigade was in Makueni County on the 10th to popularize its bottom-up economic model to the expansive Ukambani region. Deputy President William Ruto hitting out at his opponents in the Azimio la Umoja, terming them as having no transformative agenda.
Please, we are asking our competitors, stop trying to use the president, the man we elected, who has completed his duty. Stop misusing him to try and campaign for an unpopular project, to try and push a man who has no plan, a man who has no agenda.
Ruto termed in his agenda focusing on the economy revival, youth employment and improvement of the healthcare system through provision of NHIF cover is a game changer.
Tutaweka pesa ya kutosha kwa kilimo, tuweze kujenga dams ya maji, sio ile ya Thwake peke yake. Tuwe na dams ya kutosha hapa Ukambani, ipatikane maji, watu wazalishe chakula, watu wazalishe mimea, waweze kuwa na mapato ambayo itaweka pesa kwa mifuko yao.
The DP challenged Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka to jump ship and join the Kenya Kwanza Brigade.
Nauliza nyinyi watu wa Kilome, mnataka Kalonzo aendelee kusukuma kitendawili ama aungane na sisi tutengeneze serikali? Nitatuma nyinyi kwenu. Mkimpata mtamwambia Hasla alikuwa area na alikuwa anamuulizia, si ndio?
His sentiments were echoed by ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi, who accused Odinga of having shortchanged the NASA principles in their previous coalition.
Yeye akasema kwamba hatagombea kiti tena. Na sisi tulikuwa tunajua kwamba kama hatagombea ataondoa jam, Kalonzo atakuwa mbele.
Sera zake, especially za bottom up, ndizo zimefanya wananchi wa Kenya wote wala wa kawaida kumpenda sana.
Tutaunda serikali ya wananchi wa Kenya ambaye ni wakereketwa ya kuangalia maslahi yenu.
Wakati huu ni wakati wa siasa, na mnajua ile kiti deputy president anaitisha, mutampatia.
Deputy President William Ruto took the Kenya Kwanza Brigade to woo voters in the Ukambani region, maintaining that the bottom-up economic model is the best bet yet to transform the nation. Nancy Okware reporting for Prime Edition from Uvete area of Kilome, Makueni County.
As political campaigns gain momentum, religious leaders across the country are calling for peace ahead of the 9th August general election. The leaders say that they will name and shame politicians using cash to entice youth to cause chaos.
Elsewhere, Ushindi Kenya Azimio la Umoja, a caucus seeking to amplify Raila Odinga's support in Mount Kenya, has started campaigns to ensure the region votes in his favor.
The church is now calling on politicians to campaign with decorum as they seek votes. Speaking at St. Joseph Milimani Catholic Church in Kisumu during the official launch of Lent period, religious leaders from different parts of Nyanza urged the political elite to avoid whipping emotions.
So both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza and any other political party, we are calling you for peace, and this time round religious leaders are taking forefront.
Sentiments echoed by religious leaders in Naivasha who have vowed to publicly name politicians misusing youth to disrupt rival meetings.
Na tukisha kujua ya kwamba kuna mwanasiasa anayetumia mbinu kama hizi za kutoa hongo, kutoa pesa kwa vijana wetu ili wakafuruge mikutano ya wengine ama kufuruga amani, basi sisi hatutakuwa na budi kama watu wa kidini kuamka na kuweza kabisa kumpinga waziwazi.
Mchakue kiongozi au viongozi ambao kwamba wanafaa, viongozi ambao kwamba watajali utulivu, viongozi ambao kwamba hawatafuruga amani ambayo kwamba ipo.
And a caucus seeking to disseminate ideas and objectives of the Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga has been formed. Ushindi Kenya Azimio la Umoja is expected to transverse the Mount Kenya region to ensure it backs the ODM chief for his bid.
Patikule kulikuwa na furugu wakati huu baada ya kusalimiana na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, mambo imebadilika. Kwa hivyo tunahakika, na ndasema hivyo tunahakika, ati Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga atashida na ataigia State House.
Meanwhile, Turkana Senator Ekal Imana is the latest politician to join the Wiper movement. The senator, who was received by the party's leader Kalonzo Musyoka, is expected to spearhead the movement's campaign in Turkana. For Prime Edition, I'm Zainab Said.
From politics, let's take you now to the space of education, where Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Mboya has called on tutors in technical and vocational education and training institutions to undertake a paradigm shift from theory-based examinations to practical solutions addressing the common life challenges.
Professor Mboya, who was the chief guest at the Kisumu National Polytechnic's 9th graduation ceremony, also challenged the youth to embrace training in skills which will address unemployment in the country.
Here's that report.
Mboya at the same time urged TVET institutions to tailor their programs in line with day-to-day life demands and cut on business courses which he noted have flooded the job market.
This idea of students regurgitating theories when you are working with them in the lab, can I encourage the teachers to stop it? As a trained surgeon, you can see me operating for 20 years. Now, the day I have collapsed and you have to save somebody, that's when you know you can't operate. So allow your learners to dirty their hands.
The CS challenging the youth to embrace TVET institutions and learn skills that are relevant to the job market and become job creators rather than seekers.
You will only remain jobless if you want to remain jobless. Because there are so many things that our people do. For example, if you are trained to add value to food here, and you are in our area here, and you sit in your house looking for a job, I would want to label you a big fool. Because there are jobs everywhere. You go and market yourself, you'll find that there are so many farmers who require your knowledge in order to help their soil to remain fertile. You don't give it free, and once they know who you are, they'll be looking for you.
He told the over 3,000 graduates to put into practice the skills they have acquired from the institution over the past 3 years. The Principal Secretary in the State Department of Vocational and Technical Training, Dr. Margaret Mwakima, said the government was committed to strengthening TVET institutions, having increased the number from 52 in 2013 to 238 in 2021 at a cost of 10.6 billion shillings.
Out of the 238 institutions, 198 are operational and 46 are nearing completion. Again, due to the 10.3 billion capitation government grants and the Kenya shillings 11.1 billion HELB loans to TVET trainees since 2019, there has also been an increase in enrollment from 55,945 in 2013 to 249,316 in 2021. Additionally, a conditional grant of Kenya shillings 2 billion is given to vocational training centers every financial year.
Let this institution stay as a polytechnic, and the minister agrees with me. This idea of transforming every polytechnic into a university kills a very critical cadre we need in this third industrial revolution or economic revolution in our country.
Wycliffe Okech, Prime Edition.
Moving on, teenage mothers in Nakuru County now have a place to call home and attend school after a rescue center opened its doors to them.
The rescue center in Subukia town was founded by a group of women and will specifically accept teen mothers from poor families as well as those who have been rejected and abandoned by their families.
I wonder how many teen mothers have been enrolled.
40.
Let's listen in.
Hope for teen mothers in Subukia, Nakuru County. At this rescue center, over 40 young mothers will get an opportunity to not only complete their studies but also comfortably live with their children.
Hii shule tulianzisha kama wamama wakati tuliangalia msichana mwenye alizaa wakiwa primary, mwingine akazaa akiwa secondary, akakosa mwelekeo. Mzazi akamkataa, mwenye kumpea mimba pia akamkataa, msichana akakosa maisha. Tukakaa chini kama wamama, tukasema lazima tuanzishe hii mradi, ndiposa tusaidie msichana ndio apate kuendelesha maisha.
The school management has employed caregivers to take care of their babies while they study. And after the day's lessons, the girls are reunited with their babies.
When the mothers, they come from class, they usually come and wash their hands, and then they go inside to breastfeed the babies.
The girls are grateful for the opportunity that was almost taken away from them by fate.
We faced few challenges, being rejected by our parents. We lost some of our friends, but all in all, God is so faithful. The Subukia Prestige Teen Mother School came at the right time.
Local leaders have lauded the initiative by a group of women in the area that has granted these girls another chance in life.
Ninapongeza sana wamama ambao waliona ni vizuri wasichana hawa teen mothers kushughulikiwa na walipata hiyo sababu.
According to education stakeholders, most girls are deprived of their right to education after they get pregnant.
Tulipotangaza, wasichana wamekuja wengi kwa wengi. Na kweli tumeona wasichana walizaa wakati wa corona wengi, ambapo wamekosa mwelekeo. Kwa siku huwa anapokea wasichana kama 7. Ukisikia venye msichana anakueleza hata jinsi alipopata huyo mtoto wake, mwenyewe unasikia kulia.
The school's principal now urges both national and county governments to roll out similar projects across the country and empower young mothers.
Well, that report brings us to our first break right here on KBC Prime.
At KBC Channel 1 News at Purity_Museo at Mboya 24. The hashtag is Prime Edition. Keep tweeting. I'll be going through your feedback during and before the till end of this broadcast. Stay with us.
Kenyans want to see new leadership in place, and that is why they are giving me this support. And I do believe that Kenyans also now believe in what I've been saying and believe that we can remove the current leadership.
Do you have a new story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Welcome back. Straight into the corridors of justice. Two suspects, Chris Philip Okeo and Robert John Ouko, were Wednesday charged at the Milimani Law Courts for negligence as well as illegal possession of a firearm.
The firearm is said to have been used to murder Kevin Omwenga at Galana Suits in Nairobi's Kilimani area in 2020.
According to the charge sheet, Chris Okeo, who is a licensed firearm holder
unlawfully permitted someone else, Robert Ouko, to take possession of his firearm, a pistol miniseska, to advance the cause of murder. Appearing before Chief Magistrate Bernardo Choi, a witness, John Bugwa, told the court how on that fateful day, Ouko, while at Kevin's house in Kilimani, went to the bedroom with the deceased Kevin, where after some time they had a loud bang. The witness further claimed that when he went to find out what happened, he found Kevin's body on the floor with a gunshot on his chest. The hearing continues. Meanwhile, Mary Ngurengari, a single mother, has been charged with fraud. It's alleged that between the 12th of April 2021 to the 9th of February 2022, the accused Mary Ngari, with intent to defraud, obtained 1,080,000 Kenya shillings from Esther Kivuva by falsely pretending that she would prospect gold and ATX. She was granted a bond of 500,000 Kenya shillings or a cash bail of 300,000 Kenya shillings. The case will be mentioned on the 8th March 2022. Lynn Chalo, Prime Edition.
Well, over 3,000 residents of the hunger-stricken area of Ngomeni in Mwingi North constituency, Kitui County, have received food donation courtesy of a non-governmental organization.
While the locals, while lauding the kind gesture, urged the government to take care and supply them with the much needed relief food. This and more stories in the news-making headlines in the counties.
By Brian Mwindi, and by the way, this is his 100th
story.
The David Musila Foundation donated 400 bales of maize and wheat flour to the residents of Ngomeni in Mwingi North to cushion them against drought.
Tumetarget like 3,000 people kutoka Ngomeni ward, ili wote kila mmoja tuhakikishe ya kwamba ameenda nyumbani na kilo 4 za unga wa mahindi.
Meanwhile, plans for the national examinations in Trans Nzoia County are in high gear, with over 50,000 candidates set to sit for their national examination this year across the country. County Commissioner Sam Ojwang said there will be no room for malpractice.
Si wale ambao tunasimamia mambo haya ya kwamba hawa watoto wanafanya mtihani kwa njia ambao iko na integrity, kwa njia ambao ile watapata kama results ni ile ambao tu waliweza kuweka kwa mitihani.
Elsewhere, Mbeya South MP Geoffrey Kingangi has denied claims that his Constituency Development Fund Board cannot account for the 23 million shillings as claimed by some quarters.
We have nothing to fear. I have not taken anybody's money. There are no ghost students in this constituency.
In Isiolo County, a gender policy has been unveiled to govern the implementation of various projects and programs that are gender-specific within the county.
This policy will now really help to ensure that the issues of domestic violence against women, against girl child, against those kind of things will be eliminated.
Finally, Malindi town residents want the Sabaki Waterworks revived to supplement the water produced at the giant Baricho Waterworks.
Kubwa ni ndani ya Malindi kwa sasa hivi hauwezi kupata maji kwa muda wa wiki moja mfululizo, haiwezekani. Maji tunapata maji siku 3 kwa wiki, siku 2 hakuna. Ukipata siku 2, siku 3 hakuna. Na hili limekuwa ni tatizo la kujirudia.
The residents have given the Coast Water Development Agency and the Malindi Water and Sewage Company a 2 weeks ultimatum to solve the water crisis. For Prime Edition, I'm Brian Mwindi.
Now, an update on the COVID situation. Kenya's COVID-19 positivity rate rose by 0.6% after 45 people tested positive from a sample size of 5,523 over the last 24 hours.
The total positive confirmed cases are now 322,781. Cumulative tests conducted so far are slightly over 3.3 million.
37 patients have recovered. That brings the total recoveries to 303,144. No death was reported on Wednesday.
While a total of 110 patients are admitted to various health facilities countrywide, while 526 are under the home-based isolation and care program.
Meanwhile, 16.2 million vaccines have been administered across the country. The positivity rate stands at 0.6%. Well, today in our weekly feature, Cinemas and Theatre, our reporter Jacqueline Masharia reviews the film Sleep.
Take a look.
Sleep is a story about Makau, a 20-year-old man who struggles to find a way out of trauma caused by the actions of his late father and would do anything to gain back his sanity.
Inspector Mogaka, my name is Detective Akenye, and I believe this is not my case.
This leads to a change of behavior where he turns to revenge. Due to the trauma, Makau is unable to sleep and he keeps on having flashbacks of his father's burial, making him uneasy and restless. Brian Kabugi plays Makau.
Casting for Sleep, we just did indoors audition and just to confirm, but we already knew this is the right person to play this. We never had changes. Real Boogie is a household name. Most of the guys have seen him grow. I've seen him grow on TV, and for this role, Boogie was going a different way. He's the lead character, but he just say a single line the entire movie. But all through, he's not talking. He's silent all through, and he was just putting the emotions together, and he was speaking through character.
The film, produced by Vincent Ludeki, seeks to address mental health issues among the youth in the country.
We wanted just to highlight what has been happening, because we've been watching news, and if you watch news lately, especially around the end of 2020 and the beginning, the other half of 2021, the first half of 2021, there has been a lot of killings.
Sleep highlights the burden of depression and how it led to a series of killings at the height of COVID-19 restrictions in the country.
We took 14 days to shoot Sleep, and then after 14 days, it has taken us up to almost 4 to 5 months of post-production. A unique feature or a unique dynamic to Sleep compared to my other films that I've done before, I will say it's cinematography. I haven't done anything to that type of cinematography. Even after that, I've done another short film immediately when we wrapped Sleep. I went to a short film, but still, cinematography for Sleep, it's still in my mind.
Scene 50C, shot 1, take 2.
Kenya Film Commission has changed this, the industry. Kenya Film Commission has placed the industry where we can say, I'm a filmmaker proudly, and you can go home and tell your parent, I'm a filmmaker. The industry, in terms of quality, production, in terms of market, it has grown. And yes, Kenyans are watching Kenyan content. So Kenya Film Commission has created a place, the Kenya, I think is Kalasha Market, where Kenyans filmmakers can go and market their content to potential buyers. But we are thinking of, they should come up with an expo where we just want to showcase Kenyan content and people come and just watch the magic that is being created here.
Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
Now, media is currently under the radar as the country heads to the August 9th general election.
Every move by the media is now under scrutiny as politicians jostle for space to market their agendas.
The question is, what is expected of the media?
Ben Chumba posed this question to stakeholders in our premiere edition of 2022 in Perspective.
A section of the media has been on the receiving end for its election coverage.
In 2007, for instance, media was accused for providing a platform to incite the country into violence. Come 2013, and the media was accused of preaching peace and overlooking irregularities in the polls.
The 2013 decision of the Supreme Court and the two 2017 decisions speak for themselves. And I think we must continue having a conversation with ourselves as a country and how to ensure that the independence of the institutions that we hold dear should never be compromised, no matter the circumstances.
My experience last time is not anything to look forward to, although I have to say it is those things that make us who we are. It is those things that give us the urge to do the right thing.
Stakeholders in the electoral process are now challenging media practitioners to walk the right path and stand on the right side of history, ahead of the polls.
When our security and stability has been threatened since 1992, it is something to do with elections. That is when we have been pushed almost to the creep. It's because of electoral disputes. So they cause us fear and anxiety. So how do we deal with this fear?
Kenyan media is one of the best in Africa, and people want to learn from us. So if people want to learn from us how we participate in the murder of democracy, I think is a big challenge to us. So how can we do it differently and reinvent ourselves?
We are very concerned about what seems to be overreach by some forces outside newsrooms, seeking to influence the editorial space. This concern rises manifold when such forces turn out to be state agencies.
During a consultative meeting hosted by Kenya Editors Guild in Nairobi, the media was asked to uphold patriotism and professionalism in fulfilling its mandate.
I would urge that we be diligent in the discharge of our duties. You chose this profession. Can you do it to the best of the standards of the profession?
Whether you like the Chief Justice or not, you must report fairly about the Chief Justice. Whether you don't like Philomena Mbetewa Mwilu, you must report fairly about her. So let us have that respect, that camaraderie, that friendship, that togetherness.
Events being witnessed in the ongoing political campaigns are said to be a litmus test for the ethics and professionalism in the practice of journalism. The stakeholders want media outlets to push for issue-based politics and desist from being the mouthpiece of politicians who care less of their speeches.
The media sector not to air what brings disrepute to the institutions of governance, not to air things that will bring down the fabric of Kenyanness.
We have a challenge in this country that we profile people based on their names. And so, if today a police officer in a certain region bears a certain name, then people immediately begin to perceive him as of a certain affiliation. When the media comes out strongly to oppose such positions, then we are policing better.
If you go tomorrow in primary school here and say that candidate A got 9 votes, candidate B got 6 votes, candidate C got 2 votes, how is it going to be contested? But you want to go to Bomas or Kenya and start announcing what IBC wants you to hear. I think we will be failing.
It calls for us to really interrogate our reporting and also our understanding of the laws and the various processes, so that when our media houses speak and the journalists and everybody, then we are not misreporting or misleading the country.
Will this election make a difference in terms of coverage? The ball is in the court of the viewer. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Well, that's the story that brings us to our second break right here on KBC Prime.
Karen Jenga is on standby with the day's business news. Later on, we'll have sports updates. Stay tuned.
Ili kupata wewe si wakale, kama sikiza tune kwenye simu yako, dial *811 965#.
Wewe si wakale, usibaki pale pale. Akikujaza imani tele, utafika kwa kilele. Maana hata imekuwa mtu akiwa ndani ya Kristo, amekuwa kiumbe kipya. Ya kale yamepita na tazama, yamekuwa mapya.
Kupata wewe si wakale, bonyeza *811 965#. Kumbuka ni *811 965#.
To all our prospective candidates, are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops invites you to the 2022 National Lenten Campaign launch on Saturday, 26 February 2022 at St. Mary's Msongari Grounds. This year's theme is Unity in Diversity, promoting good neighborliness. Watch the event live on KBC Channel 1 from 9:30 a.m.
Welcome back. We now take a look at the latest in the world of business. My name is Carol Jenger. The National Assembly is contemplating increasing the powers of the planned debt management authority. Legislators want to ensure that want to empower the authority to conduct feasibility studies for projects to be funded by loans. While debating the debt management authority bill, the legislators said that most projects funded by loans have minimal returns, which is making Kenya struggle with repayment plans.
Kenya's debt now stands at 7.7 trillion shillings, according to official data from the Central Bank of Kenya. In June this year, the National Assembly raised the debt ceiling to 9 trillion shillings, giving Treasury more rooms to borrow. The National Assembly now says most projects are funded by the loans have little returns due to poor feasibility studies.
Kenyan citizen, even a child born today, is indebted to a tune of 255,000, what is called debt per capita. Every Kenyan, Mr. Speaker, is indebted, let me repeat, to a tune of 255,000.
The National Parliament is now calling for complete independence of Debt Management Authority. The bill that seeks to establish the authority is poised to be read for the third time as it ages closer to becoming law.
It's up with what we call an institutional framework on how to manage public debt. And why it is very important, Honourable Speaker, because one of the questions we have been asking ourselves over time is how much is our public debt as a country? You have seen this week, Honourable Speaker, where some are saying it's 11 trillion, others are saying it is 8.2 trillion,
The National Assembly wants the regulator to have PASS carry out feasibility studies for projects before they are budgeted for and loans approved.
Landlords will be required to give tenants a 90-day notice before increasing rent if the Landlord and Tenant 2021 bill is enacted into law in its current form. The bill, which is in its second reading at the Senate, further proposes introduction of price controls for rent based on the market value, as opposed to landlords arbitrarily setting the rent.
Landlords and tenants have on most occasions been at loggerheads over rent increments and forceful evictions. This can be attributed to poor regulation, as existing laws have gaps that fail to clearly stipulate the tenancy relationship. The Landlord and Tenant Bill 2021 requires landlords to give tenants a 90-day notice for increasing rent and structures rent increases.
The landlords have always been, giving the rents the price they wanted, depending. They could even change within no time and without even giving notice. But this bill then will help the tenants because the rent will be based on market values.
The aspect of this bill that mandates or that decrees that in order to raise rent, there has to be a process, there has to be a form of hearing, a form of engagement, and other considerations is highly welcome.
If adopted in its current form, landlords will not be allowed to evict a tenant who fails to pay rent without involving the rent tribunal.
It is also very important to note that in this bill, it talks about a duration where if the eviction is not carried out within a stipulated period of time, I think it is 60 days, then it lapses.
Somebody is staying in your property, but they are not considering you having suffering because you do not have any other. Probably you wanted the rent charges to pay the mortgage.
However, Narok Senator Ledema Olekina took issue with the bill for not spelling out where tenants' deposits will be safeguarded during the period of occupancy.
One, to define how the tenancy deposit will be handled during the period of the deposit, whether it will be a custodial account, or rather the government protected scheme, or whether it will be an insured account. And the tenants needs to know their rights.
Members of the National Assembly are irked that the National Treasury omitted 1.4 billion shillings for the fertilizer subsidy program in the 2021-2022 supplementary budget, which they want included. Legislators debating the supplementary budget said the amount will be used to stabilize fertilizer prices ahead of the planting season as the government explores long-term measures of lowering the cost of fertilizer.
Farmers have been grappling with high cost of fertilizer that has seen the retail price of the commodity rising to about 6,000 shillings, up from 3,500 shillings in 2021. Legislators are worried that the increased fertilizer prices might ultimately push up the cost of maize flour.
If production is not checked, it means we are going to import maize. And when we import maize, Honorable Speaker, it means at the end of the day, we are going to increase the cost of production and everything is not going to work for the country.
Kabla hatujakata kauli ya kutoa msimamo wetu, waweze kutoa taarifa ya jinsi mikakati imewekwa ya kusaidia mkulima ili aweze kupata mbolea kwa bei nafuu.
The National Assembly wants the National Treasury to urgently include the 1.4 billion shillings meant to stabilize fertilizer prices in the supplementary budget ahead of the planting season.
We had requested for about 15 billion to be able to sort out the issue of subsidized fertilizer in this country, especially at this time when fertilizer prices are very high. And the cabinet has not given a feedback, which we should expect that they should move very fast. We were able to do the supplementary and make some adjustments where we put in 1.4 billion to be able to subsidize fertilizer so that as we await cabinet's decision.
Even if it's going to be in a supplementary budget, Mr. Speaker, that this fertilizer can be provided for the farmers as quick as possible, Because as we speak, Mr. Speaker, it has started raining. And when it starts raining, Mr. Speaker, very soon it will be planting season.
Earlier this month, the Agriculture Ministry said the fertilizer subsidy had been depleted to 1.2 billion shillings, while about 8 billion shillings is needed to subsidize the fertilizer.
Well, to the housing sector, about 180,000 houses have been constructed under the affordable housing agenda of the government. Speaking after launching the first phase of 10,000 affordable housing units in Kiambu, Governor spokesman Cyrus Oguna said the affordable housing project has been categorized into affordable, social and urban housing, depending on one's earning.
The Affordable Housing Program was launched in December 2017 as one of the government's 4 pillars of growth. The government targets to facilitate construction of 500,000 affordable housing units over a 5-year period from 2017 through a number of incentives and support to the private sector to put up the houses. Government spokesman Cyrus Oguna says so far 180,000 housing units have been constructed and are ready for occupation.
We are heading into a point whereby any Kenyan can be able to own a house in any part of the country under this affordable housing program.
Speaking after the launching of the first phase of the construction of the 10,000 affordable housing units in Kiambu, Oguna said the government has lined up various incentives for developers as well as potential homeowners to ease construction and occupation of the decent housing units.
We are not just providing affordable houses that are cheap in terms of construction, but we are providing houses that are reasonably priced but built to the expected quality that you find anywhere else in the market.
To ensure that all targeted groups are catered for, the affordable housing units have been categorized into affordable, social and urban.
Very important for civil servants who for a long time were not able to afford houses, but now they can afford houses. They can buy either directly or they can buy through mortgages.
So far, 29 counties have signed deals on the affordable housing program. For Prime Edition, my name is Ndutamo Kami.
The Central Bank of Kenya says that Kenya will cautiously embrace the central bank digital currency due to potential risks posed in its use. Despite this, Central Bank Governor Dr. Patrick Njoroge says there are many benefits of using digital currencies in driving up financial inclusion. As Alan Awoko reports, the Central Bank is looking at new payment strategies to offer a blueprint on the adoption of new central bank digital currency.
The Central Bank of Kenya, in a 2022 digital payments report, showed that the trend in Kenya's domestic payments confirmed the existence of a digital currency in the form of e-money that is highly active. For this reason, the consideration to introduce a central bank digital currency CBDC would then focus on addressing current and future needs in the payments ecosystem.
The next generation payment systems that we are aspiring to come with a promise of instant, cheaper, more convenient and user-friendly services.
Central Bank Governor, however, underscored the need to safeguard the system against risks that the country could face in adoption of the digital currency.
Risks lurk in the neighborhood, including cybersecurity, data privacy, and fraud. To calibrate the balance between risks and opportunities, we shall be guided by the principles in this strategy.
Currently, the government runs several services on digital platforms, including the Integrated Financial Management Information System (IFMIS), the Government Human Resource Information System, the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Database, and the Kenya Revenue Authority's online tax filing system known as iTax. But a review of the draft national payment strategy shows that the Central Bank of Kenya is angling itself for the digital payments era.
The vision and the principles of this national payment strategy 2022-2025 are in conformity, they are in alignment with the wider government digital transformation agenda.
About 4.6 trillion shillings was transacted through mobile money platforms between January and November last year. Alan Awoko, Prime Edition.
Welcome back, and that is a rubber. Before I go, the Forex market report will be next, and then later Richard Munga will be coming up with sports news. Have a good night. My name is Carol Jenga.
Chini ya uongozi wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali imewekeza vilivyo katika sekta ya kilimo ili kuongeza uzalishaji chakula na pia kulinda mapato ya wakulima. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254.
My administration is currently reforming the sector by increasing output and productivity, boosting incomes in agribusiness, and ensuring household resilience and food security.
Alikuwa sisi na njaa, lakini wakati Uhuru alikuja, sisi nasema asante kwa sababu hii mtu anapatia maji ya irrigation.
Tunalima mchele na inatusaidia. Tunaweza kusomesha watoto, tunaweza kukaa kama mkulima anakaa kama mfanyabiashara mwingine. Hatuna tofauti sana. Sasa tunaona maisha sasa ni mepesi.
Oh, good evening. I'm Richard Munga with a daily sports update. To get matters started, Dagoretti Youth Centre Chairman Ramadan Hadisi has called on the Ministry of Sports to organize sporting activities that will ensure the youths stay engaged. Hadisi noted that organizing tournaments will keep the youths busy and away from crime and drug abuse.
Speaking during the handing over of 500,000 check for renovation of Dagoretti Youth Community Center based in Nairobi, Kawangware slums, Dagoretti Youth Center Chairman Ramadan Hadisi welcomed the donation from Bed King, saying it will go a long way in helping to accommodate the rehabilitation of the group and support the local community.
Na by the way tumekuwa tukisaidiana nao polepole kwa sababu wamekuja mashinani. Kama saa pale watasaidia, kama katika huo mradi wangu vijana zaidi ya 120 wanalala ndani pale, wale ambao wamekuwa na uraibu wa madawa ya kulevya, wale ambao wamekubali kubadilika.
The community center is run by Dagoretti Youth Welfare, which was founded in 1996. It is currently the home to hundreds of young men and women. In addition, Claire Mureithi, the head of marketing, recalled that Bed King was introduced to the community, having reached out, seek well-deserving community initiative in Kawangware, and identifying this as a great area to set up the first retail shop, while still looking to make positive difference on the community.
The reason we came to Kawangware, it was among the first places we went to when we wanted to connect and look for communities to invest in. We have already walked other places in Nairobi, but we felt here we already found the home in the community center. They opened up their doors. They told us what their challenge is. So we've come to Kawangware, as a testament to say we are here for the community first.
It's a very exciting times at this moment, and we're really happy to be contributing to the community and giving back again, like my colleague Claire said. I think this is just the start. We're getting warmed up now, but I think at a later stage we're going to be going into the regions.
Her words were echoed by Mario Ziae, who called on youths to engage in community development projects as a way of curb drug abuse in the area. For Prime Edition Sports, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
National men's basketball team Morans left the country early today, Wednesday, ahead of the first round of the 2023 FIBA World Cup qualifiers in Dakar, Senegal. Some of the players named in the squad are Cliff Ward and also veteran Griffin Ligare, Eric Mutoro, Preston Bungei, Ariel Okal, Victor Busire and Albert Adero. Morans will face Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, as well as host Senegal in their Group D matches. The return matches are scheduled for July this year, with the best three teams from all the four groups advancing to the second round of qualifiers. The championship is scheduled to kick off on Friday and run up to Sunday. Elsewhere, Sekenani Homeboys are the winners of the Meitameyo-led Pash Cup after humbling Mara Eagles 1-0 in the final played at the Sekenani grounds, Narok County. The lone goal was scored by Tom Jadida in the 17th minute. En route to the final, Sekenani Homeboys saw off Oleboma, while Mara Eagles defeated Olelamuitia 4-3 through post-match penalties. A total of 8 teams drawn from Narok County took part in the tournament.
First, I want to congratulate my teammates kwa ushindi. Wamezoea, si ati walianza juzi ama jana. Wamezoea, they are all time champions.
There is a lot of talent here. Lakini ukiangalia ile programs ambayo hawa watu wanatumia ama zile approach ambayo wanachukua kutafuta wachezaji ama kupromote sports, unakuta hiyo maneno inaishia tu pande ya urban areas.
Two other matters now. Kenyan players registered mixed results as the curtains came down on the Parklands Open Squash Tournament at Parklands Sports Club in Nairobi. The one-week event, which attracted players from several African nations, saw 18-year-old Anna Maldi being the top-placed Kenyan after reaching the quarterfinals of the tournament.
The national squash team head coach Prince Mukuka says the tournament gave a good platform to upcoming and experienced players to showcase their talents. 18-year-old Arna Maldi, who qualified to the quarterfinals of the tournament, is optimistic of making it to the Kenyan team for the Commonwealth Games slated for July 28th to 8th August in Birmingham, England. The Kenya Squash Association targets to use such tournaments to expose players and gain experience that would play a pivotal role in growing the standards of squash. The tournament was used to select players for national senior and junior teams ahead of the Commonwealth Games and African Youth Games, which are slated for August in Cairo, Egypt. Channel on Sports, I'm Nora Mongi.
Now to international matters, where two more Champions League round of 16 matches will be played tonight as English Premier League side Manchester United take on Atletico Madrid, while Benfica will be taking on Dutch side Ajax Amsterdam. Meanwhile, Champions League holders Chelsea took control of their last 16 tie against Lille with a 2-0 victory at Stamford Bridge.
It for the 16th time.
Defending champions Chelsea humbled French side Lille 2-0 in their last 16 tie at Stamford.
Their chances now of dancing into the corner for Villarreal.
Now that's all the time we had for sports tonight. But to remember, Liverpool is out to close Man City's 6-point lead at the top of the English Premier League table. But they will be without two of their best players, that is Portuguese Diogo Jota, as well as Brazilian Firmino. And in another match, Tottenham Hotspurs will be playing away to Burnley at Turf Moor Stadium. And you also have Watford playing against Crystal Palace. For all the highlights and all the results of those matches, as well as the Champions League matches set for tonight, remember to stay tuned in to KBC subsequent sports bulletins. I'm Richard Munga. That is all from me. Have a good night, but don't go too far. Purity Museo and Mboya are on the other side of the studio.
Thank you, Richard. It's a wrap.
Absolutely. Just remembered we were holding brief for Safina Cheng Oma and John Jacob Curia, hoping they'll be joining you next week on Wednesday. But for us, it's a Monday and Tuesday. My name is Purity Museo. Lensa Odingo has been a sign language interpreter. Good night and God bless.
Thank you on behalf of the team. We want to thank you so much. We'll see you again next week, as she said, Monday, Tuesday. Good night from the capital city of Nairobi, Kenya.